K975, home to the morning hustle. Ayeeedubb is to IV, and I have a special guest in the building. Give it up for Xbrodie.
Yes, what's up?
How you doing? How you living? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good. I feel like I'm starstruck right now.
Don't be starstruck. I should be starstruck. Hello.
Oh man, yeah, it's cool to be here in person. It's pretty dope. I
I'm
appreciate it.
glad you like. We were talking about the whole station earlier, and we were looking at everybody's names and stuff like that. Your name gonna get added on there too.
Oh man,
don't worry.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's the highlight of my year so far.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. But for those who don't know, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Raleigh. But I claim Kenansville, North Carolina, in Duplin County, because around like 7th grade, my mom got married and we moved there. So I kind of got raised a country boy. So
okay.
I claim to now I know Duplin County is where I'm from.
I can hear a little like more little twang, a little southern deep,
Really?
Type of thing, just a little bit.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a good place to be raised, man. It's very family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people make it out of those small towns. Like, you kind of get stuck because you don't see anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of, I feel like I'm one of those people that were able to make it out and give people an idea of what you can do outside of those country tree walls.
Yeah. I love hearing like the small town stories, because it's like you said, it is kind of tough to get out of that or break out of that small town mentality.
Right.
But when you do, it's like you either like, you put on, you like represent. Like I'm from Salisbury, which is a small town.
Oh yeah, Salisbury.
So it's kind of the same thing. Even though I have to be like, 40 from Charlotte or like
Yeah.
hour and a half from Raleigh, I had to be
Yeah.
like, it's still Salisbury. So I get that.
Right.
So how'd you get started into music?
So I started writing poetry at first. So when I was a kid, I guess you can call it the typical story, just having the ability to vent. My mom wrote poetry, so I would write poems about things that I was feeling at the time. And, one of the biggest things was my dad not being around, and he was just being ignorant, lying about coming around. So I just needed a way to vent, so I would write in poems, and then I started putting them to beats, and then I started rapping. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be Lil Bow Wow when I was a kid, right? He was the man. So, just started rapping. My mom is very religious, so she actually made me stop rapping the way I was and made me do gospel rap. So I originally did gospel rap and actually was pretty successful at it. I went on tour and, it was like a lot of church events. And I sold a lot of CDs. That's back when CDs were popular. But, eventually I was like, man, I can't get my story out by putting it in a box of quote-unquote gospel. And even at that young age, I was like, it can't be wrong to vent about what I'm feeling, even though it's not the most positive. I think we all go through different feelings. So eventually I end up, rapping and getting discovered by this dude named Beans. So we call him Jarvis. Beans, rest in peace. But he found me at an event that I did at a church, and I did a song in front of my parents that wasn't a gospel song for the church. Just to prove to them that I could. It wasn't like a crazy song. It was just more like talking about making it and, getting out and, just venting, pretty much. But, I was able to, I did that song. He discovered me, and then, we started recording his mom's house in a closet, and it kind of just kept, going on from there.
You was like a little Lecrae for a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he a noob, too, so, shout out to Lecrae. Yeah.
That's interesting that you had to actually do like gospel rap.
Yeah.
And I also think it's dope that your mom didn't like say like don't stop doing music. Like she's like, can you try it a different way or like a
yeah.
They
so that's
try
to do
dope.
the best they can. So
Yeah.
It definitely took a weird turn. My stepdad at the time, with them being so traditional, they weren't really fans of how I was, which ultimately ended up me getting kicked out of my home at like 15. So then I was doing the music stuff, and homeless for a little bit, and then but the guy I told you, but they would take me in, I would record with them, and we would just keep, going these little tours around the city. It's kind of crazy because I'm doing shows. I'm at like strip clubs at like 16.
It'd be like that.
just being grown for no reason, but like it worked out though. Like being able to be free and just create like that was always dope.
How do they feel now about it? Because, it's been some years now.
I think, like I said, your parents, they don't know any better at the times. They just trying to do the best they can. So I think now that in my older age, I was able to show them that, I'm doing well for myself. So, I'm able to now have those adult conversations with them you know, they understand it, but they're always asking me to send them music. I'm like, no, I said a cuss word in this song.
It's in a clean version.
But my stepdad, or I call him my dad, he likes it. He listens to it. He likes the message that I don't really portray any negativity in my music, so it's something that anybody can enjoy, I think.
Yeah, it's real like positive. It's a vibe.
For sure.
And I want you to explain your sound because it's kind of like R&B-ish or like, you know, Loverboy type thing. So like, describe your sound.
I would, you know, in terms of like, I would say I'm telling stories, right? So I don't really think I'm an artist that necessarily invokes movement in people necessarily, right? You know, some people just have something like, man, this is catchy, it makes me want to move. I feel like I'm writing books and stories, and again, it started with poetry, so it kind of makes sense as my music being something that you listen to on a long car ride or nighttime, you know, you're driving or in the shower, or just something where you're able to just hear the words mostly than something that you just throw on to cause people to want to dance and stuff, you know. My shows are a little different. They you know, those shows, I'm going to get the people moving there, but I think my music would be described as like more of a story that just has music that is complementing the words, but the main focus would be the words. Like if I were to die today, I would want the world to know the words. You could take the beat away, and the words are it's crazy things I'd be saying sometimes, I think. So
yeah, I kind of like that, and I peeped because in your bio it's like, you know, I wrote a book called Then I Fell in Love.
She really did her research.
Yeah, but it's really like the link to like your album title. So
yeah.
That's
Then I
dope.
Fell in Love. Yep. Yeah.
And it, like you said, it comes from the poetry. I'm like having like a mind blown right now because I'm putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's dope for real.
Yeah, for real. Thank you. Yeah. I am too lazy to write a book.
Oh, hello.
So the music is faster. So I just use that as a way to write. This is my way of putting a book. One of my biggest fears is being forgotten. I think that's probably my only fear. And so I just enjoy being able to put something out there that can be listened to or heard or respected years after I'm gone. So it's kind of like what do you call those little capsules people used to like, you know,
a time machine, they call it thing.
I'm into that kind of stuff. Like I like antique shops because it's like, yo, I hope someone signed this so I could just see this person existed and this was a toy they played with, or this is some artifact that they had. And for me, it's like that the music is that. So I just, you know, I like to tell these stories, and you know, but just I like to do it through music. So
that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
I like that.
I need an audiobook.
What you do? What's your favorite antique shop around here? Because now I'm interested.
Oh my goodness. You know, I hate to say it, but I don't have one around here that I like. There's one. Is like something like Paws or something on over there by Conkey. That one's okay, but the ones that I've liked the most, I've been traveling a lot lately, so I've been to some really, it's kind of hard to compare because I've been to some nice ones in New York. I just came back from New Orleans, so the antique shops there were just insane. Like it's just such a beautiful vibe in there. I don't know that I have a favorite one here though.
Have you been to Trunk Show?
I can't say I have.
Check out Trunk Show because they like it's somewhere kind of off of downtown. It's beside a gas station and a fabric store. It's real random, but Trunk Show, they have like records in there. They have like, you know, like more modern thrifted vintage clothes.
I wouldn't be surprised if I've actually been there. I just don't remember the name because I remember going to one pretty big thrift store or antique shop, and my favorite part about it is they had older music playing. It was like a little radio box they had, but the old music that used to kind of have that crackle in the.
Love it.
Yeah,
yes.
Like that's my favorite. That's like my top 5 type of music. Like Christmas time, that's what I'm listening to. Like the old, like not the new. I like the old. Like it seems like they just recorded this in the 60s or something. Whereas the quality's not there, but it's just, I don't know, something about that.
Do you go on YouTube and you see how they had the YouTube where it's like it'd be like Kanye in a bathroom in the middle of a club and they'll play like you hear the echo. It's
right,
like so
right.
I don't know what that is called.
Yeah,
but
like
it's so many. Yeah. But like they'll be like, oh, this music, 60s music being played in a baller room in the Depression era. It's like real distinct.
Oh, that's crazy.
You just go through a rabbit hole. I be in a
Send that
rabbit
to me.
hole.
Yeah, for sure.
I got you. But I want to talk about the heart because there's a lot of well, it's probably significant to you because you have it on your merch. I think, if you post something about it, you have the heart.
Yeah.
It's in your bio, the heart too. Does that mean anything? Why you want to go with the heart? And is the heart broken?
That's a good question. Yeah. So no, well, visually, yeah, it's broken. I think personally, I've had a lot of heartbreak in life, but I realized over time that I'm far from broken. So the heart that I have, especially the original one, the one I have on my neck, is it stands for two sides of the same heart. So I feel like for me, I've always been a multifaceted person. So there's so many personalities to me, and I would always go crazy thinking that I had to be confined to just one concept or one idea. I think the world tries to force you to be this or that, but it's like for me, I'm like I'm all of these things. Like I'm a goofy guy, but I'm also we can go deep and we could talk about life and love and hate. I feel all these emotions, even like I said with the gospel thing, right? When I was doing the gospel rap, it was something I felt like I wanted to create a positive message, but I didn't feel positive all the time. There's times I needed to get some negativity off my chest or whatever. So it stands for two sides of one same heart. So there's light and dark and good and bad, and there's sad and there's happy. I'm all of that, and I'm just human. And then one of the things I want to spread to the people that become fans and friends and family of mine is that we also two sides of one heart. The human race, right? Now I gotta stand for the black folks heavy though. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's where I'm at with it. But in the grand scheme of things, in a perfect world, I would want everyone to realize that this is just flesh. We all are just souls and spirits, and we're all just human. So I don't know what your life is or what you're going through, but you're going through life and trying to figure out the best you can. Same as I, which is all part of the one big thing, but which is not always connected, which is why it kind of has the split in it. But this one is pretty cool because it's a signature logo. So I actually. It's how I would plan on starting to sign things because there's an X within that. I just needed something to be a little different.
Yeah.
I actually drew it in the shower. The shower curtain was fogged up, and I was like, I want a new logo, and I was trying to mess with it, and I did it, and sold out of hats now with that.
I didn't even see the X until you mentioned. I'm like, dang, it makes sense.
I love everything. I love detail, so it's like it's one of those things.
I knew it had to have like a deep meaning behind it because I'm like, it can't just be just a broken heart emoji. Like that's too easy. It gotta mean something. So I love that meaning.
Yeah, two sides of the same heart. That's what I'm spreading.
And then I just saw something on your Instagram, a video that caught my eye. You were on the corner of Glenwood, or you was downtown Raleigh, and you had the speaker, and you was having people play your song.
Yeah, I was with Jamie.
You was with Jamie?
Yeah.
Hey, girl. So a lot of people, you had the reactions of people listening to the song.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to love it. And it kind of like made me think about like kind of two things where like people who create content and then people who do music and trying to get like their music out. A lot of people sometimes feel like no one is watching their content, or I'm stuck, or I'll have like a what's that word called where your mind is stuck, writer's block or something, or creative block and things like that. And then I see you post so much and like in a good way, and it's different, like everything from like going out to the street and having people play your music, or you're doing music videos and you're thinking of different ideas. Like you were like the mask on your last one. And
Jamie was in that too.
Again, Jamie, hey girl, everywhere. I love it. So I want to know, like, have you ever felt like in a way where it's like maybe I'm doing too much, no one's like on my level, or it's also like I maybe not be doing enough, or I'm not getting the feedback I want, but you still continue to like keep going, or you do get the good feedback and now you have to keep up with the content. So like how is like that feeling, like going through all that stuff?
It's like a constant battle, of course, because the industry has obviously changed. I do miss the era where you would burn CDs and you could physically just give out a product and people would like it, or not like it, whatever. But I think what it is for me is that I just want, I don't think you can fail in life if you're doing exactly what it is that you want to do. I tell people that with whatever you're in, relationships, friendships, whatever, as long as you're doing what you want to do, then you don't really have any regret. So with me deciding to go out there to do, play the song for people, it just, of course, Instagram and TikTok, those are highlight reels. I didn't show you the 50 people that was like, fuck off. Oop.
You
told
fine.
tell me to just, was like, yo, like, leave me alone, I'm not mad at those people. They don't owe me anything, right? Like, that's where I think we all got kind of confused over time. It's like people owe you their support and they're bad if they don't. Like, I read this book called The Four Agreements, and none of that stuff is personal. So for me, I just worry about being impeccable with my words and living life the way I want to live. I feel like I'm already an artist. I'm not trying to get anybody's approval to do that. I'm just showing my art to you, just putting it out to the world. So, sometimes I get discouraged, and sometimes I don't, I don't post as much because algorithms and shadow bans and all this things that I can't control. But what I did realize is that back in the day, when you would get 100 likes on a picture, like back when Instagram first came out, you was the man. Like, you felt like, 100 people, like, that's crazy. But now you're trying to compare yourself to Kylie Jenner. It's like, oh man, I didn't get 100,000 on this. That's crazy. I failed. It's like, no, like 100 people is let's say you selling hats for $30 a pop and 100 people want them. That's a pretty good little bit of money that you just made. Let alone, most of the time any views that I get is usually in the 1,000 range. So my thing is, what I'm trying to do now is just focus specifically on those that care. I mean, I can't really focus on whether I'm doing enough or are people gonna like it, or people gonna. I can't really focus on the negative. All I can do is try to keep the fans that I do have, and keep those people happy and make sure that they're rocking with what I have, and again, just live my life the way I want to live it. So I'm gonna create, and because that stuff is fun to me. If when it's not fun, I just don't, But for the most part, I don't really try to focus on who's not paying attention and what's going on. I can't control that. I can only focus on the things I can control. What I can control is that I'm a creator, so I'm going to create. That makes me happy. So
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, when you mentioned the whole like, we compare likes or we compare things on social media. I remember that being like a big thing, like back in a couple of years ago. But now it's like everybody hide their likes now, and more even like people want to go into like the brand or like labels and stuff. They're like, they rather have somebody who has 3,000 engaged followers instead of like 50 million and only 2,000 will buy the product. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I'm kind of glad that everybody's kind of focus or mindset on social media has kind of shifted in a more like, let's be real type of thing. So I'm glad you know that. That's dope. I love
cool
that.
in person too, so I don't really care nothing. I'm from, I'm born in '93, so
Period.
I know what it means to be cool in real life. Like, I ain't really stressed about no internet, and you can fake that. So you comparing yourself to like a false goal. People faking streams, faking likes, and I get it. I get it. Like, it really feels like good when a lot of people give you that affirmation and sign of approval. Like, so you want to see numbers equal this. But for me, I just, man, I don't know. I use that as just another tool. But I make sure I connect with people in person, and you guys. I also try to show you guys the good and the bad, though. I don't know if you've seen, but a few months back. I had a situation where my DJ kind of messed the music up at one of the opening shows I was doing, and I got booed like bad in Greensboro. I showed that too, though. You got to see the whole. I'm gonna tell you the whole thing. I'm not flexing for nobody. I pull up. If you look at my music videos, I pull up in a Honda that's outside. I'm not trying to like. I want to be that artist that people of a trail that people can actually follow. No disrespect to other artists that people look up to, like Lil Baby or Jay-Z or whoever, but I just think the blueprint that they left is like not very. You can't follow that. Like, you can't. Everybody not getting away with things that Jay-Z got away with. Everybody's not gonna be able to live the life like Lil Baby lived and then flip it to music. I hope they can change, and stay out of whatever trouble. But I'm trying to be the guy that gives you your everyday person, somebody that works a 9 to 5, and somebody that ain't necessarily in the streets, but came from poor upbringing. And I want you to see like really like the route to what something that can actually a kid could say, man, I think I could actually do that. It wasn't that special. He wasn't using drug money to do this, because that's, again, everybody can't be in that situation and make it out of that. So I want to show people what it look like, where I'm using the money that I work 9 to 5 to handle everything from 5 to 2 in the morning. I wanted you to see that hustle. I'm getting off work, and then I'm driving to Atlanta, and then doing the show in Atlanta, and leaving it with my manager at 5 o'clock in the morning to get back to be working. It's the sun is up by the time I get back. I wanted you to be able to see that hustle that I'm doing to, be the real. So I'm not really worried about faking anything on social media. I want people to really see the story.
And we need that too. Like, when people can get caught up in that whole fake and I don't know what's real, but when you really keep it real, you can't fault nobody for, like, that's normal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. And then you're actually about to go on tour right now. It's another big thing you got going on.
Yeah.
You got a couple of shows around here in the Carolinas, in the city. So how are you preparing for the tour?
Lately, I've been working with some really dope musicians, so that's kind of changed my live performance. Taking it to work with like Christian Moon, he plays saxophone and he just makes the show 10 times better. And I got my boy Drum Monster. He's drumming with me at these shows, and a lot of these shows are I've had a lot of practice since I've been in the Raleigh area. So when I got here, that's where I met Jamie Green Image, who runs BYOI. So Bring Your Own Instrument, which pretty much gives people the ability to bring your own self, however, whatever that may be, whether you play a physical instrument or you're someone in the crowd that's bringing energy. Everybody's just bringing whatever vibe you got that's positive. Bring that all here, and let's create a dope, usually very Black event. And so I've had a lot of practice for over the past 2-3 years doing that. So that I'm just kind of to prepare for the tour. I'm just keeping the same energy, just having a good time on stage, connecting with people. This time around, though, my thing is to get this merch out.
Okay.
Just to, have something that people can take back home with them. So, I'm just putting some songs together. I'm doing the Then I Fell in Love album, so I have that, and I'm kind of taking these shows and making it a quote unquote tour, out of it, and just putting music and the vibes out there to the people.
I love it. And then you already kind of stand out because, like I said, the first time I saw you perform was at the Poorhouse.
Yeah.
And I believe you're the only one who had, like, a whole band. And I already stood out because everybody either used, like, a backtrack vocals or, like, a mix or something. Yeah. But something about a band and live music, it's just always going to win every time. Like, everybody loves that.
You can't beat that. It's a good vibe. And, like I said, that was new. I was scared as hell. I was so nervous because I usually do backtrack, thing like that, which I think for a certain situation works better because if you don't have time to do a super sound check 3 days before and all that, sometimes you just need the track to play just so that you can focus on the performance. So I always try to give a good performance because, a lot of that has to do with, being able to articulate yourself, body movement, what you're wearing, all that, so that, that goes into making sure that you have a good show. But when I can have a band, you should pop up on Sunday. It's like a cozy music vibe at the Slush in Durham.
Yeah.
It's saxophone, whatever. Somebody may have a guitar or something just real chill. I just don't think you can ever beat that vibe. So I'm trying to capitalize on that. And I think it works with my music too, because when you have a band and it's not so much music coming out of the speakers, you can kind of again focus on the words, and that's kind of my thing, right? So it's all about the words.
What day is the Slush show?
So I think they're running those shows every Sunday, right? Every Sunday. Yeah. So 12.
Oh, 12?
12. Yep.
Okay, but yeah. Oh, a little Valentine's Day little situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good vibe, and when you go, you gotta order this drink called the Xbrodie.
I saw that too. What it tastes like?
Good.
What's in it?
It's don't worry. That's not what's important. It's how it make you feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I go in there and just be like, can I get the Xbrodie extra large with all what they got, the candy in it?
The Xbrodie only comes extra large.
Oh, okay. Got it. I love it. Well, Xbrodie, I know you got the tour coming up, and then of course you're still like promoting the album as well. But what else can we expect from you in the year 2023? What's next after all this?
Yo, that's crazy. So again, like I like to create. One of my biggest loves is film. So I like to, obviously with the show, like, the video, like The Mask, I like to make stories. So I'm going to put together a visual story of the album, Then I Fell in Love. So I was going to do full music videos, but I think that's kind of older thing. Unless you're really popping, it's really a waste of budget. So I was like, where do people really like to look at things? Well, I'm gonna just do little short films, and I'll put them on TikTok and Reels. So there'll be, really small shot videos. But I'm gonna use the same person. So I think I'm gonna use this dancer that I know is Naya T. She's dope. But we're gonna put together like a little story to kind of go through the album and give you guys a perspective as to what it is I was trying to portray. I usually try to give you guys a chance to listen and digest it on your own, to see what you may feel about it, because we can all look at the same painting and get, everybody in this room can get a different feeling from that same painting. So I let you guys look at the painting first, and then I do like my Jordan Peele and give you the explanation behind everything, which is what I've been doing lately. I don't know if you saw like my recent post. I kind of like performed a piece of the song, and then I told you my favorite part of that song. And then, so I'm gonna go through that as well. Hella shows. I'm gonna do a lot of shows, and really just trying to be that next person in the city. If you guys if you guys will have me.
Of course. Speaking to existence is going to happen. Yeah. I love that. I'm expecting big things from you this year.
Absolutely.
The people like, of course, DJ Grant and Big Ron are like close to me in the radio family. And I told them that they were coming up there, and they're like, "Oh, that's my guy." Like, I've seen them in like the likes and stuff or whatever. Yeah. I was like, Xbrodie. They're like, "Yeah, we met him. He cool." Everybody speaks so positive of you.
Oh man.
So I wanted to tell you that as well.
I'm sensitive, man. Don't do that on the camera. Make a thug cry, man.
We got tissues in the back, so if you need it. Yeah. But I appreciate you so much for coming to the station.
Absolutely, thank you.
Let everybody know where they can follow you, get to know all your music, get ready for the shows, and get the hats and the merch.
Gotta get the hats.
Let them know.
Gotta get the hats. So you can follow me everywhere at Xbrodie. That's Xbrodie. Kept it really simple, no underscores and dots and everything. It's just that everywhere is Xbrodie. You're gonna see this heart everywhere. Come rock with me. Got a few shows coming up. Coming to Bring Your Own Instrument event curated by Jamie, Green Image. Very dope show. Very black. It's Black History Month. So even more reason to be in that kind of a vibe. What else I gotta say? Oh, protect black women at all costs. And continue to love yourself and be yourself and be the best version of yourself, guys. So
I love it. Again, Xbrodie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And keep it locked to K97.5.